friends, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. And the question top of mind as the teams take tea on day one of the World Test Championship at the Oval is, has India taken the right stand by dropping Ravichandran Ashwin and picking Umesh Yadav ahead of and going with the four-pacer and Ravindra Jadeja in the mix. Rohit Sharma calling the toss right and then asking Australia to bat first, but then announcing that given the conditions at the Oval, because the sky at that time was overcast, perhaps that we are going to go with four pacers and a spinner. But within an hour of play, it was baking at the Oval. Bright sunshine, clear blue skies. That's the English weather. Have the Indians missed a trick here? At 170 for 3, the Pacers have got into the top order, but Australia seems settled with Travis Head and Steve Smith slowly eking out the runs. Steve Smith setting himself up for a big innings. Siraj, Shami and Shardul among the wickets. But that little bit that we saw from Ravindra Jadeja, does that actually make a stronger case for the presence of Ravichandran Ashwin in the mix? Is this going to be the difference? We'll have to wait and watch. It's still day one, but who takes the honours? The win predictor says there are more than 65% chances of Australia winning this test at the current scenario. Only about 35-36% chances for India to win this test. Given the current scenario at this crucial juncture, some questions that remain as we are going to queue up the final session is whether or not India has made the right decision. We'll try and go across to our guests in just a bit. But first, let's try and connect with Srinivas Rao and look at this entire comparison between Ashwin and Jadeja. Is Ravindra Jadeja a better bowler than Ravichandran Ashwin in Test cricket, especially against the Aussies? Look at what the statistics say. 42 innings, 114 wickets and an average of 28.4 for Ravichandran Ashwin. 30 innings and 85 wickets at an average of 18.9 versus the Aussies for Ravindra Jadeja. So is there a case for Jadeja to be picked against ahead of Ashwin? So these questions remain. Srinivas Rao, given the conditions, have India missed a trick here?
Of course, Anand. In fact, the last 2 days we've been speaking, and I kept telling you that the weather pattern was suggesting that the sun comes out anywhere after 2 and 2:30 p.m. Now look at the surprise today. The match begins first day of the game. I think half an hour into the play, 45 minutes into the play, and the sun was out. So you see how unpredictable things can be. And the weather is as hot as it can get in London. There's a bit of breeze, of course, but no way are the conditions as well as the pitch good enough for four seamers. No. Should have been 3 and 2 spinners. Ashwin should have played this game. And right now, the partnership between Head and Steve Smith gives me all the more reason to think that Ashwin should have been part of this attack.
170 for 3, Australia. One more session to go. Lot of win predictors, punters say Australia are on the driver's seat. Would you say that despite India seeing the backs of Warner, Labuschagne and Khwaja?
Exactly. No, I wouldn't give the things away on a platter to Australia. India is very much part of this game. We just need this partnership to break, and with the kind of top order that Australia have, and you would have expected a good solid 100-run partnership once they settle down. Probably this is the standard you're looking at. So again, you got to kind of wait till the last session today and see where this goes. Can India break this partnership? Again, if you're not breaking this partnership and tomorrow these two gentlemen are walking out to again negotiate the first section, they would have said their eye in, and that is where we need to start worrying. Right now, I would still wait and give it a go to see if India can get in there.
7 overs for 12 runs from Jadeja, economy of 1.71. He did trouble both Travis Head and Steve Smith. Does that actually make a stronger case for Ashwin should have been there in the mix?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. There is bounce on this track. Would have helped Ashwin a lot. Considering the left-handers there in the Aussie squad, you should have had Ashwin. Considering the experience he carries, you should have had Ashwin. Considering that you need a bowler to keep holding on to one end, you should have had Ashwin.
I
have no doubts of now.
Okay, Srini, just stay on with us. Let's bring in Chaitanya Nadda and Ajay Ratra also with us, former cricketers with us. Ajay Ratra, आपको क्या लगता है अश्विन को छोड़ देना चाहिए था या फिर आपको लगता है कि अभी भी इंडिया हैव डन ओके 170 फॉर 3 पे?
मुझे लगता है कि अश्विन इंक्लूड किए जाने थे, बट मे भी शायद टीम का स्ट्रेटजी ये लगता है कि 4 पेसर्स के साथ गए और पहले फील्डिंग करने का प्लान है। बट स्टिल आई फील कि 3 पेसर्स भी अगर पिच में अच्छी हेल्प है तो 3 पेसर्स भी वो अच्छा काम कर सकते हैं। जो भी आपके बेस्ट 3 आप सोचते हैं, मुझे लगता है अश्विन यहाँ रहता तो वुड हैव बीन बेटर फॉर टीम इंडिया। बट अभी भी 170 पे 3 है। नो डाउट टॉस हारने के बाद पहले बल्लेबाजी ऑस्ट्रेलिया करते हुए एक डिसेंट स्टार्ट है, बट इंडिया भी अभी हम कह सकते हैं कि आउट नहीं हुआ। यू नेवर नो, ब्रेक के बाद अगर 1-2 क्विक विकेट इंडियन टीम को मिले तो यहाँ से उनको इंडियन टीम रैप कर सकता है, प्रोवाइडेड आते ही उनको टी के बाद वो विकेट लेना इंपॉर्टेंट रहेगा।
The criticism, Chaitanya, is that the selection has been made looking at the first session. बाकी के सेशन सब भूल गए। 5 दिन का खेल है, सिर्फ फर्स्ट मॉर्निंग ऑफ द फर्स्ट मॉर्निंग फर्स्ट सेशन नहीं है।
Yes, you are absolutely right. Everybody is talking about after watching a first session that is this a right combination or not the right combination. I think it's too early for anybody to say. If we get another 2 wickets when we come back after the tea session, then everybody will be saying yes, that was a good combination or the good choice of the team. But I think as an Indian team which have played Australia a few months back, Australians still have that blockage of playing spin against India. If you see the way they are playing, Travis Head and Steven Smith is playing against Ravindra Jadeja, we can still see that blockage in their mind. They are not, right now they are not sure what is going to happen. And when you have 4 left-handers in top 6 of your batting lineup, then as an opposition you should go for your best spinner and the best bowler who has already done very well against Australia. So I think somewhere down the track, after watching the wicket and the weather forecast, which is supposed to be on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, they're going to be cloudy. There are few things in the mind. They might have gone for Umesh Yadav. But I think as a team management, we should have gone for the best players to play this World Test Championship final.
It's a one-off test. That's what we keep talking about. And I'm just going to quickly bring in Srini. Last 3-4 days that Srinivas Rao has been there, every day it's happened that the morning is overcast and by the time it's noon, afternoon, it's nice and sunny. Srini.
Yeah, and
I think his feet is just frozen there. We'll try and get him back. Ajay, एक और बात यहाँ पर है कि ऑन एयर ड्यूरिंग द मैच कमेंट्री के टाइम में रिकी पॉन्टिंग ने कहा कि इंडिया ने सुबह का कंडीशन देख के टीम चुन लिया है। रिकी पॉन्टिंग जैसा व्यक्ति कमेंट्री करते हुए ये कहता है कि आपने फर्स्ट सेशन के हिसाब से आपने टीम चुन ली। अब आप देखिए कि यू आर प्लेइंग विद द ड्यूक्स बॉल, यू आर प्लेइंग एट द ओवल। पॉन्टिंग खुद कहते हैं मैंने देखी सतह पर थोड़ी घास है लेकिन नीचे का पिच पूरा ब्राउन है, भूरा है। दूसरे तीसरे चौथे दिन में ये पिच स्पिनर्स के लिए खेल बहुत अहम होगा एंड इंडिया इज नाउ एक्चुअली बैटिंग लास्ट। अब इसमें तो और ज्यादा आपको चाहिए था कि आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया को जितने कम में निचोड़ लें, रुक जाएं, उतना बेटर है। पहले दिन के दूसरे सेशन में ही जडेजा बॉलिंग कर रहे हैं और ट्रेविस हेड को समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या करूं।
जी आनंद, इनफैक्ट हमारे लास्ट शो में इफ यू रिमेंबर हमारा वो बात हुआ था कि ओवरकास्ट कंडीशन अगर सुबह फर्स्ट डे है तो कई बार मैनेजमेंट के लिए ट्रिकी सिचुएशन हो जाता है। और क्योंकि टेस्ट मैच 5 दिन का है और इंग्लैंड का वेदर भी कोई प्रेडिक्ट करना बड़ा ही मुश्किल है, क्योंकि कभी भी ओवरकास्ट हो जाता है, कभी धूप निकल आती है, तो वो आपको थोड़ा सा मे बी बोल्ड डिसीजन लेना पड़ता है। यस, इन दैट बार्गेन सम टाइम वो अगर ओवरकास्ट से पहला सेशन या 2 सेशन रहता है उसमें टीम बहुत विकेट भी खो सकती है, बट स्टिल वो आपको जो है वो बोल्ड डिसीजन लेना पड़ता है जब आप टेस्ट क्रिकेट में मैच जीतने के लिए जाते हैं।
Well, at no point are we saying that India is out of this match. We are not saying that, ladies and gentlemen. We still have belief in our bowlers. But do we really have the belief in our batsmen to chase a total which is upwards of 350, 400? And having an Ashwin, would that have perhaps assured that the Australians will be restricted inside a 300 rule? Because at 170 for 3, you are expecting the Aussies to score at least 300, Trini. How are the conditions looking right now?
The conditions are excellent for batting. The conditions are excellent for batting. If you got your head in there, I mean, it's a great track to actually bat on, and that is why exactly are we discussing the idea of spinners here? The spinners, we are discussing the idea because you need to slow down this game. Otherwise, the ball is coming on beautifully onto the bat. There's nothing wrong. I mean, this kind of medium pace attack that India is bowling, Steve Smith and Travis Head can keep going. As Ajay Raja said, that Ravindra Jadeja seems to be the only guy here. I mean, making Head a little uncomfortable, right? That's the only way you can do something here is just try and slow the game down, which is something that I am a little curious because this is exactly what Rohit Sharma had talked about yesterday in the pre-match press conference, where he said that the conditions at Oval tend to slow down as the game goes forward.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we are kind of witnessing here. Although one bit to add here, people are saying match gone, 170 for 3. No. I still believe in this Indian batting lineup. I think they do have it in them to kind of hang around. But what you need right now is for this partnership to break right away.
Well,
that looks difficult.
Yes, and it's difficult, Chaitanya Nanda, because even as we speak, match has gotten underway. 178 for 3. Travis Head is running away with a strike rate of 83 at 66 of about 79 balls. He seems to have got his eye in. Steve Smith, 34 of 110. He seems to be setting himself up for a big score. If that happens, do you have the confidence in our batters to chase this down and to post a total which will make it difficult for Australia?
Yes, absolutely. If you see the way both the batsmen are playing, they look totally in control right now. Both are playing according to their strengths. But as you said, if they score big, will India be able to chase that down or, able to match that score or able to take out this match? I think Indian batting lineup will be able to do score runs on this wicket, because if you see, when I played in England in June, the wickets are very slow. And it will get slower and slower and slower as the match will progress. And if you see Oval record, first inning average score is 343, then second inning average score is 304, then third inning is 238, and the last is around 156. But Indian has to bat very well. They have to bat, in a partnership. They have to bat out of the skin. But India have that strength to do that, because if you see the way Shubman Gill is playing from last 6 months, he's in prime form. Rohit Sharma, he's due for a big, and then Virat Kohli again in a prime form. Again, he's back. He means business right now, and this wicket will suit them because the wicket will get slower and slower. They just have to avoid few risky shots, play like a test match. If they do that, I think India have that strength and that batting lineup depth to,
but here's the thing. Within the Australian side, they have a genuine spinner in Nathan Lyon. They have Steve Smith who can roll his arm. They have Travis Head who will get in and get into the mix, so he can roll his arm to bowl those slower ones. And then they also have a Cameron Green to come in and play the all-rounders role as a bowler, along with the pacers in Scott Boland, Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc. So look at what the Australian mix is to try and counter the Indian batting ability. And like you said, day 3, 2, 3, 4 will become slower and slower. At this point, Ajay Ratra, India is into this 54th over and they are at 183 already. Run rate is nearly 3.5. That means by end of day's play, Australia should be touching 300, if not crossed it comfortably. That's not what India was that thought when Rohit Sharma decided to put Australia into bat. उन्होंने तो ये सोचा ही नहीं होगा. अब ये तो आप सिलेक्शन पे ही करेंगे ना कि आपकी बॉलिंग मिक्स क्या है.
या डेफिनेटली आनंद, सोचा तो भारतीय टीम ने जब फील्डिंग लिया और 4 पेसर्स के साथ गए तो कहीं ना कहीं की 200 सवा 200 पे टीम को रैप अप करने का, बट वो जो फर्स्ट जो है वो जरूर ऑस्ट्रेलिया के फेवर में पहले 2 सेशन जरूर गए हैं. और यहाँ से आप बात कर रहे थे बल्लेबाजी की भी, भारतीय टीम इम्पोर्टेंट है कि कितना चेज कर रहे हैं. अगर ये कहीं लंबा स्कोर गया 350 के प्लस, बट यू नेवर नो अबाउट क्रिकेट की, अगर टी के बाद कुछ विकेट मिले एंड देन दिन के एंड में 80 ओवर के बाद सेकंड न्यू बॉल भी ड्यू होगा, वहां से कहीं भारतीय टीम वापसी करे तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि भारतीय टीम को यहाँ वापसी करना. और नहीं तो 350 प्लस हुआ तो चाहे विकेट थोड़ा ईज आउट हो भी जाएगा, बट चैलेंजिंग.
No, challenges hai, lekin finally, Srini, one of the aspects is everybody looks at Ashwin's bowling in England. But they'd perhaps have the selectors and the team, the think tank, not considered Ashwin's bowling against Australia. the आंकड़े बहुत जल्दी बदल जाते हैं there. Things actually change there, the whole scenario. And the Indian batting, given the doubts that we've had with the top order, anything upwards of 300, 350, will that take the game away from India? Are you worried, or do you still have hope? And you would like to then surmise, perhaps at 10 p.m. India time tonight, after the end of day one.
Exactly. I'm not going to stick my neck out and say anything right now. I'm going to wait till the day one play is over to see where Australia stand, and probably based on that you take a call. What it might look like. So I think it's still too early to probably take that call. That's number one. The other bit, you said a very important thing right now, just a while back, where you talked about the Australian lineup, where you talked about how many guys in that team can roll their arm over. That is something that this Indian team misses. Other than the specialist bowlers that we carry, we really don't have anybody in the top 5, top 6 who can just come in and bowl those 4, 5, 6 overs. That is why it became extremely important for us to make sure that the combination of 5 bowlers that we go in with are exactly the kind that we need. And I think that's where we missed a trick.
Well, is that trick going to be prove costly, or perhaps we will just be good enough to get the better of this Australian attack, whose batting right now is looking very menacing, especially this partnership? We'll have to wait and watch. Ajay Ratra, Chaitanya Nanda and K. Srinivas Rao, thank you very, very much.